What's up, RotoGrinders? TJ Zwarych here. I will be your host today for some FanDuel Friday. I am joined, of course, by Drizzy26. Dre, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. Up bright early this morning, getting this done early. It's a good thing. It's a good feeling, and I am just ready to go to talk about the slate and get a good first look.
Yep, I'm with you there. I'm back to teaching on Fridays now, and so we're up real early crushing this one out. It's a real first look, and so I was honestly like, initial thought was like, gotta wake up real early, do some content, but I usually just struggle to get out of bed for about a half hour, so no better way to wake myself up than some baseball content. We got this FanDuel Friday show. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you are hitting the like button. Let's start with some pitching on today's slate because we have a few options. I think the leading the way is Charlie Morton with a beautiful projection in the Bad X projections, the only pitcher today above 40, and he is not near the most expensive on the board. Talk to me about Charlie Morton. He's going to be somewhat chalky. Is this going to be your go-to guy today?
Yeah, I think he's going to be definitely my top overall pitcher today, just because of the matchup against Miami is so appealing. It just makes it easy. Makes it a pretty easy choice. I think Miami is still without some of their best hitters too for the rest of the season. So I'm just gonna roll with them all the way, especially on a side like FanDuel where you can only roster one pitcher today. He's 9.8K, like you said before. He's not even the most expensive pitcher. He's right in the middle. I know he had a bad showing, not that good of a showing in the last game against St. Louis, but he's everyone's entitled to have their bad game, and he's been pitching well lately. So he's someone I definitely will be rostering a good amount today.
And then the next highest projected pitcher on the board, it's not Luis Castillo. It's not Sandy Alcantara. It's David Peterson all the way down at 8K. Now, Washington is not a strong team since they traded away Juan Soto, since they traded away Josh Bell. Peterson's been playing well lately. You do worry a little bit with lefties against Washington because if they're going to do anything well, it's going to be hit left-handed pitching with guys like Thomas and Cruz, Voigt in there. But something I'm curious about with David Peterson is, are you still comfortable getting to him at moderate ownership when he's actually reverse splits with his strikeouts? He's oh, sorry, I got my last year's. Oh, no, those are this year's stats in there as well. Never mind. He's not reverse splits with his strikeouts. He's reverse splits with his power. He's striking out 30% of lefties, but he's given up a 240 ISO to them. He's striking out 27% of righties, but only a 0.096 ISO, getting ground balls 51% of the time. There are some fly balls hitters on this team, but outside of Meneses and nobody's really been hitting the ball that hard this year. So what do you think about David Peterson?
Yeah, he is. He's a good option. And Washington has been struggling a lot lately, and they also have been in some close games. Like you said, outside of Meneses, it's not really a lot of guys who you have to worry about that lineup today. But their strikeout rate is not that bad. Is that well compared to others in the league that have a worse strikeout rate, only 21.5%. You would think it would be a lot higher. So they do have a chance where they can obviously get to him a little bit, but I don't see that happening in this matchup. So I feel comfortable rostering David Peterson for sure today, especially at that 8K price. That 8K price is actually comes in a lot handy, and especially when you're trying to spend up on some of the batsmen I know we're gonna want to do today. It's just going to be interesting to see also how ownership shakes out throughout the day on a guy like Peterson and Morton, honestly.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And those are going to be the top two on the board. They're going to be the one the field are getting to the most. Talk to me about these other pitchers. I've narrowed down my pool a little bit, and I think the crew that I'm most comfortable with for tournaments, even though there are some gross feeling shots in there, are Sandy Alcantara, who I think is my third favorite pitcher today. And then the other guys I got on the list as well are some cheap nonsense, as Cheese likes to say in his $1 Million Musings article. I got Dean Kramer, Nick Pavetta, Jeffrey Springs, and Daniel Lynch. What other players are you considering today?
I am definitely high on Sandy Alcantara today, so he'll definitely be in my lineup. And I agree with that being the third option for me. And I don't think I'm typically a guy that sticks with the top, or stick with the good pitchers and good matchups. I might take a shot here or there of someone that I dig really deep into. Like I don't mind a little bit of D Kramer just because it's Oakland, but Oakland has been playing a little bit of better baseball lately. So I'll have to look at it a little bit more into depth to see if I want to go that route. But I also don't mind taking a little bit of shot on some Jordan Montgomery and Luis Castillo here. I know Castillo's definitely a tough matchup against Cleveland. They don't really strike out a lot, but I think he can. But he's one of those pitchers I think that can get there just off of strikeouts and has the upside that he presents just off his talent. Other than that, like, I don't think I'm going to go any lower than that. Everything else to me seems like it's. Uh, just a wasteland in a way. I know we got some ownership coming in early on Jeffrey Springs. If because the Yankees have been struggling lately, besides that one game they had against the Angels, so I don't mind that in a way. But other than that, that's really it.
Yeah, and I what I did here is I just basically sorted by point per dollar and I exited out all the ones other than the top guys there. But after we kind of talked about pitching, after I look at it, I think honestly, whether I'm playing three lineups or whether I'm playing 300 lineups, Alcantara, Morton, and Peterson are going to be the only three pitchers I pitch.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. I don't see why you wouldn't go that way, especially because Alcantara will be if he's. I expect it to be, even though it's early today, he will definitely be around that ownership as far as 5%. Maybe he'll double that to get to 10, if anything. But that price point of 10.4K when you have Morton at 9.8 and Peterson at 8K in better matchups, why not just take a chance with Alcantara? With Atlanta, granted, Atlanta is a good team, but they do strike out a lot as well.
Yeah, and especially to right-handed pitching. So I'm with you. Alcantara is my third guy on the board, and he is definitely somebody that I'm going to be looking to get to. Let's swing it over to the bat side of things because although we have a pretty big slate, we only have two totals today over 5 runs. The highest total on the board is Boston. Are they going to be your top stack today? And who are some of the other teams you are looking to?
Boston is definitely a team I don't mind getting to today. I don't know if they're going to be the top team yet. Um, I would definitely say that they'll be top five for sure. But um, I just love trying to get some of these other teams in these other spots today that we have. Like Pavetta's been pitching pretty decent, so I even don't mind taking the other side of that game as well. And go with some Texas. I do kind of like the Yankees in a way. It's just a tough matchup. I know with Springs, so I don't know if I'm going to chase it that much. Houston going against Detmers is to me, I feel like Houston should be one of the top teams to go with today, and I don't mind that at all. And I do like Baltimore going against Oakland as well. Uh, and that's pretty much what I'm looking at right now so far. I don't also mind a team like Minnesota in a way. Seattle obviously who's been playing really well lately against Pleasic. It's another team. It's another team I think I'm gonna target and have a lot of interest in too.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit. Some of the teams I'm going to be looking at, I think Boston is my top team on the board playing against Keuchel. Like this guy just can't do anything anymore. And so picking up some of these righties against him, I like quite a bit. Even Rafael Devers, I have no issue with playing in lefty lefty if he's in the lineup. Um, a team I liked a lot earlier when the starting pitcher looked like it was going to be Patrick Corbin was the Mets, and now that we're projecting Josiah Gray to be the starter for Washington today, and I don't know how much I love the full stack because we're worried about potential pinch hit stuff for Naquin, for Vogelbach. But I do love Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor today. They're two of my favorite spots on the board. And Brandon Nimmo and Starling Marte, I think, are a good way to complete that stack as well. So I like me some Mets. I like the Red Sox. And then I think my next favorite teams to kind of mix in there are going to be St. Louis. Adrian Sampson can just absolutely get blown up. I really like the Houston call. And I'm always down to get to some Los Angeles Dodgers as well.
Yeah, Dodgers. I mean, they got to play a little bit better too. So I definitely don't mind the Dodgers because they're going to be probably one of the forgotten about teams. I think maybe on the slate. There's a big one today too. So
And they're facing you, Darvish, right? Like
yeah.
people aren't going to want to play them against him, but it's the Dodgers, and we've seen you get blown up this year. So I like them for tournaments.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. So I would definitely take them up on that and try to get as much as the Dodgers as I can because they're going to be super low owned for sure. So I like that call. And I know I mentioned Baltimore, but I also do like the Oakland side of this game too. That game as a whole, I think it's just it's a good game. I think it's definitely going to go over today. So I would probably play both sides of that game. Use them more as a secondary stack, as opposed to a primary, though.
And so you're a guy that usually runs those 5-3-1s, 5-2-2s, or 5-2-1-1s. We've talked about a lot of stacks, but if we look at some of the highest projected plays on the board today, it's Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and we didn't even mention the Angels. So tell me, what kind of lineups are you thinking about running today? And also, who are some of the one-offs, whether they be home run calls or just players you like today that you're wanting to mix in with those stacks?
See, we just got Jordan Alvarez added to the
And the new highest projected player.
Exactly. Let me refresh this real quick. So, but yeah, like with Jordan now being the highest player, which is not surprising, especially if he plays today against Detmers. They didn't add him. I guess we refreshed didn't add it yet. But I don't mind Trout and Shohei for sure against McCullers, but McCullers is iffy. Like I know like him as a pitcher wise, he hasn't really gotten like blown up, to the point where I'm like where I'm like, okay, I can roster this guy. So I mean roster these guys against him. I definitely don't mind taking them as one offs or doing a mini stack and see what happens. Like my strategy typically is to go with 4 3s or what's that like FanDuel be 4 3s or 4 2s typically, especially on a big state like today. So I definitely don't mind doing them as like a 4 2 stack today and having those two as my as my two mini stacks. But Houston, but playing like a team like Houston, I definitely want a full stack though. Same thing probably with with the Yankees. If I want to play them, I want to play them more as a secondary stack compared to a primary. Even though I mentioned them before as a nice, I think low O option as a total for a team. And as you can see here, you talked about the Dodgers. You have Mookie Betts, Trey Turner, and Freddie Freeman as what three of the top like 10 players projected lineup right now for the bat. That's not a coincidence, and I don't think they're really gonna be this high owned coming in. If they are, I'll be surprised at 50% ownership. But I love the Dodgers call that you made today, and I'm gonna try to get over the field of them and play a lot of them. But some of the guys I do like we mentioned before, like I like obviously Jose Ramirez against Castillo in a tough matchup, but Jose hit one off the park for him before. He can do it again. Obviously Juan Soto, Kepler, guys like Max Muncy, part of your Dodger stack. Salvador Perez, if he's back into the lineup today, I love him as a one-off against Hutchinson. That game as a whole too is a sneaky game too, as the Kansas City Detroit. I just wanted to mention that as well. But yeah, I'll let you talk for a bit.
I'm with you on a lot of those calls there. And for me today, I think how I'm going to go about this slate is I think it's going to be a 3 lineup type of thing. I want to play 3 different pitchers. I want to play Alcantara. I want to play Peterson, and I want to play Morton. So I will play my chalkier stacks. I'll maybe run some Boston, and I'll run some Mets or whoever with Alcantara, who's going to be the least chalky pitcher. And then I'm going to find some ways to get different with some of the sneakier stacks we've mentioned, like hopefully the Dodgers will be in my Peterson and Charlie Morton lineups. I always try and run a 4-4 when I can, but I have absolutely no issue switching it down to 4-3, 4-2. I'm going to make sure I get in nice and early to the FanDuel single entry series that RotoGrinder is sponsoring there on FanDuel. I almost took it down last night. I think I ended up finishing like 8th because the Red Sox came back in the 9th and dropped me from 1st all the way to 8th. So that was tough, but it's still a very fun tournament. So make sure you get in that one. And maybe in that one today, that'll be the one I stick my Alcantara team in to try and get a little sneaky.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love that call. And yeah, that RotoGrinders contest is for a trip to Chicago, which we will be there next week to go to pretty much a little RotoGrinders Live final where you compete for I believe 10K up top to first place. And you get to hang out with some of the guys at RG. We also sent some of the guys with FanDuel as well. And just have a good time. So obviously they take the 4 highest total lineups of the week, and that's how they come up with the calculations for it. So get in there before it fills up because it will fill up. $30 right now, I think, for the last week, and you got only a few days left. So let's go in there and try to take it down.
Heck yes, and if you watch Crunch Time, Roth has been building up what Meansy is going to be given away in Chicago there every single week. And so shout out to Meansy for doing that. And because, he gave me some real good constructive feedback for my expert surveys. He just taught me how to adjust some things. And then I'm writing the expert survey yesterday and just put in there, Spencer Strider is going to put up, obviously he was chalky, right? But I put Spencer Strider is going to put up the highest scoring fantasy pitching game of the season. And he did. And so shout out to Meansy for keeping me on the ball, giving me that constructive feedback to just literally predict the exact outcome of the pitching today. Hopefully we're doing that again on today's FanDuel Friday slate. You can find me on Twitter, TJ_Zwarych5. Dre is Drizzy26. Jay, do you have anything for the people before we get out of here?
No, just pay attention to Crunch Time later on. It's gonna be a good show. Just play what teams you like. Play whatever you like. It's a big slate today. Ownership's not gonna be something I think you have to really worry about. It's gonna be concentrated pitching, so you know where to get different at. Just play the bats you like and play the games you like. If you are a team that you think can go over, play it. You never know, and we've seen a lot lately where these games have gone over. So just play whoever you want and play what you love.
And we didn't talk much about ownership. We didn't talk much about weather because it is so early in the morning still. So consider this your first look. Make sure you tune into Grinders Live with Dean, with Chief, with Tim, and then you got the Battle of Cheese and Cardi again today on Crunch Time with Roth, giving you the weather breakdown. So make sure you hit the like button if you're watching this on YouTube on your way out. Help us combat that algorithm. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of FanDuel Friday. That'll do it today. Peace.